Hello everyone, welcome to session 2 of my latest Porthleven painting. It's actually number 47. I found another Porthleven painting, so I've had to give all those paintings numbers. So this is number 47, that's official, and it's quite exciting because we're getting close to that 50 mark, which I think is quite an achievement and something that's, very attainable this year. So Porthleven 47. So I've just been looking this week, to be honest. The only thing that I did, we actually had a piece of paint fell off onto the floor, so I made this mark here, this decisive mark, and what this mark does, I quite like it, because what this mark does, it gives the painting depth. So this mark is in front of this mark, which is in front of this mark, which is in front of this. So, the painting, we're getting more space and more depth in the painting just by layering, putting lines on top of lines. And it could be, there's a strength in that, but it could be it's competing with this reverse K shape that I quite like. So, what I've been doing this week, and this morning, and especially this morning, I've spent a couple of hours actually sat in my chair, going through drawings and photos, and just considering all the options for the painting. And it's quite exciting. I still don't know where it's going to go. I don't know which way up it's going to be. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to move the painting around and relate it to some of the drawings that I picked out, to go through all the possibilities. And this indecision, I guess that's what it is I see it as a positive, not a negative thing. It's exciting to see all these possibilities, and rather than something being fixed from the first moment the painting starts. And my challenge is to make a new Porthleven painting that, but it's got to be different from all the other 46 Porthleven paintings. So when I look at it like this, maybe there's some similarities with some of my previous work, maybe not. But I've got to consider all the options, and I will find something that's new and exciting and something I can build on. And it could connect to some of the drawings. I may even visit Porthleven this week sometime. I may go down just to refresh my memory. But of course, I've got all this information around me anyway. But so yeah. So the next half an hour, we're going to try a few things, and I mixed a couple of colours up. And so when we look at the painting this way, I do still like this K shape that I came up with. And I've done a drawing here from the painting. And there's a real strength in that drawing. But when I look at the painting, what the difference between the drawing and the painting is, I think, in the drawing, this line and this line, the difference between them is more in the drawing than in the painting. So if I relate this drawing to the painting, what I might do is bring a line across there to make this line shorter, so that there's a bigger difference between that and that. So I think that's a better shape than the one in the painting, if the painting is like that. So that's one option. So I'm gonna. Sometimes when I'm at this point in a painting, I look at it and I might just decide what I like about the painting, what I don't like about the painting. And what I do like is this section here, these marks here, and this shape. This is very empty, so whatever I do today, we're going to do some work in this area. It's too bare, yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is spin the painting round, and I think we'll go this way. And I think if we go this way, I think these marks come into their own. I really like the difference between this area and this flatter area here. And I talked before about, the idea of the movement of the sea and the more regular man-made stuff. So this relationship I quite like, and it seems like the sea here is on a bigger scale and it's slapping against some sort of pier here. And I did this drawing connected to having the painting this way round. And in this drawing, in terms of Porthleven, it's kind of taking this, instead of the whole of Porthleven, the harbour, it's sort of taking this little area here where we have the 4 piers. And in this drawing, I have the 4 piers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can see, if I take that drawing as my template, I can see this being one of the piers, this being one of the piers, with a channel between, with this water firing through. And obviously I've got to put 2 more piers, one here and one here. So that is a possibility for the painting. And that'd be quite exciting as well. So again, I've got to build something here to make it work that way. But there's also some drawings from the past which can relate to this painting as it is. And again, it's this L shape that I've put in. It kind of connects to these 2 drawings from a couple of years ago. So these 2 drawings are like variations on a theme, and they actually came from a 3rd drawing, which is in a frame somewhere. And it's a good discipline. It's one of the exercises we do in Porthleven, where you do a drawing and then you do 2 more versions of that drawing with different emphasis. So even though it's the same view, they're different, these 2 drawings. So the clock tower's moved from there to there. This one we have some sea and some bricks. This one we don't. This one we have a boat. This one we have a pier. This one we don't. So it's a similar composition with this L shape, but the drawing, the emphasis is different. You know, this is the kind of drawing that I like. So because I haven't got the top of the clock tower here, what you have is that you don't get the whole thing. So what you also have, as well as a building, is 2 parallel lines which connect to this line here. And when we look at this drawing here, yes, it's the building, but what you also have, the strongest mark, is this diagonal mark here. So the image doesn't get in the way of the drawing, of the composition of, you know. So I can easily see this being transferred to this painting. And the third option this way around is this mark itself could be the clock tower, this vertical mark, and I could build, you know, I could make this a clock tower and then put a pier in across here, and you know, it's another possibility. So we'll see. So I'm going to spin it around again. So if we have the painting this way around, it connects very much to this drawing here, where we have the entrance to the harbour at the bottom, and we have the back of the harbour, the closed area at the top of the painting, just like here. And in this painting, either this mark or this mark could be that front pier. And it actually has a kink on it, the front pier, so it actually goes like this, it goes like that, and then goes off to the right there. So again, I could put this in, I could build up some water, build up some waves, and yeah, take it that way. This way does seem a bit familiar to me, so maybe it's not the most interesting way at the moment. And the final way, so when we have it this way, because we've got all the weight at the bottom, it's less of a problem to kind of build up the paint at the top. Again, the idea of distance with big marks in the foreground and smaller marks in the background. More paint here, less paint there. So you get this idea of distance. So again, but the entrance is on this side, and the back of the pier is on that side. So all these options. So and I think I'm going to go back to this today. I think there's an idea here which is really strong. I love this shape. It's almost like a figure going like this with her arms. and I talked last time about this squeezed middle. There's this kind of really powerful section. So in terms of the painting, I've also been looking at Franz Klein this week as well. So this could be a black and white painting, or black, white and grey painting, with the only brighter area could be this very powerful orange here. So can you imagine if this was all greys and whites and black, and you just got one colour, this very powerful area. So not only would you get a squeezed section here, you'd also get the most intense colour at this point. So it could be a very powerful point of the painting. So the first thing I'm going to do is redefine this shape. I want to make this shape more like the shape in the drawing. So I'm going to put a transparent black that I've made, and we're going to lose this section of the painting. So this will be my harbour shape. So that's number one. So we'll try it as a transparent colour and thicken it if we have to. So it's just picking out this shape here. So here we go. Very loose brushwork, not really worried about drips or whatever. I just want to establish this shape and whether I think it's something to work with. Just a bit lower. And looking back to the drawing, I quite like the fact that this line is higher than that one. The way I've got it in the painting is that this is parallel. So what we're going to do is raise the shape now. We're going to go up to there. I'm just going to put this line here. Okay. Just stepping back to have a look. It's a shape I'm enjoying, so that's all I want to say. Just wipe away a few of these drips. We don't need them all. Let's take away the drips here. Because what the drips do, they make the shape less pure. So we're just going to take a few of these drips away. So this area here now feels like a hole in the painting. Not sure about this bright ultramarine as well. So I made up this grey, which is Indian red and phthalo green, and so let's try it against the grey of the canvas. Let's just put it in there. So I've talked before about this difference between the man-made and the natural world in Porthleven. So yes, I could put a row of buildings down there, including the shipping, if I wanted to. But I think it's too soon. So, but I want to kind of represent the man-made, the fact that there are buildings down that strip of the harbour. So I've decided to do, instead of a gestural mark, I've decided to do an ordered mark, which is, I'm going to put a herringbone pattern of marks, which you can connect to roof shapes and gable ends and stuff. So we're just gonna do a sort of zigzaggy herringbone pattern using this grey, just down the side of the harbour there, to suggest something that's been man-made. Okay, here we go. Now let's go the other way. So I'm allowing the paint underneath to come through. I guess it's a pattern, so let's try the grey on the orange. This has to go. Let's take it off. Okay. So now we have something down, we have a sort of definite harbour shape. I'm going to think now about putting in some of these 1, 2, 3, 4 piers. And what I tell myself, what I always tell myself, when I have the same issue with every single Porthleven painting, and it's this. Each of those 4 piers, they have their own character. So I've got a multitude of drawings. Drawings of all these piers. So I could, imitate the drawings in the painting and draw them as they are, emphasising their difference. Or I can simply say to myself, okay, they're all different. So in the painting, providing they're all different in the painting, that's enough. So if they're painted in 4 different ways in the painting, it's still Porthleven. So rather than be too precious, I'm just going to try and put these 4 piers in 4 different ways. So the first one, we're gonna scrape it out. So if you know Porthleven, the two front piers, they're actually part of a curve. So I'm going to scrape in that curve. And there's a smaller pier on the other side. So we're just going to get a blob of paint. We'll do this one with a palette knife. So this is simply a Mars violet and white. Okay, that's different to that. So in reality, of course, there is no line joining the two piers together. But I like to see that curve, so let's put it back. Let's work our way down. So we talked about the squeeze middle here, so we want this gap to be quite narrow. So there's a pier on this side and there's a pier on this side. So let's find two ways to put these piers down. Because of the scale, I think what I do like at the moment is the scale of these two marks. So in reality, these marks here would be bigger than these ones. But in the painting, they're smaller. They seem to be more powerful than these two here. So I think I'm going to mix a bright orange and. Yeah, one of those is going to be bright orange. Here we go. Again, because it's wet paint, I'm going to put down a horizontal stroke. which one's it going to be? I'm going to put it on that side. So we're trying to just place the paint on the surface so we're not disturbing the paint underneath. So here we go. Just a block of paint. And it could be we have to get rid of this triangle because they're going to okay, knife mark, scrape, brush mark. So what can I do for the one here? So if one's scraped out, I can either lose that one or lose that one. So I'm gonna lose that one. I'm gonna keep that one scraped. I'm gonna do something new here. I'm gonna take some of this break through the line. So it's the same grey as these herringbone patterns, so let's see how that works. So this one I'm going to do a little bit of drawing with a thin brush to make it distinct from the other piers. So what we're going to do, we're going to give it a side. Okay. Straighten the edge. Too many lines, let's take some out. So of course what's happened now is, instead of us being above looking down on this harbour shape, because we've got the suggestion of a side wall, it makes the painting look less flat, it makes the pier look less flat. I'm just going to stand back, I'm going to make a comment. I think this shape is too small. I'm going to keep this K shape, I'm going to extend it, I'm going to make it larger, take up more of the painting. I'm going to simplify this area. and we'll take it from there. Anyway, progress. We've made progress today. The thing about these pears is they look like eyes. These two eyes and a mouth or something. Makes me laugh, makes me smile, but it's early days and we've moved on, and at least now there are less possibilities. And now things are getting established. I think I'm sure that I'm going to keep that shape, and I'm sure it's going to be black or some sort of dark. It may be that I lighten these greys to get a more of a tonal contrast. So anyway, till next time. Bye-bye.